Okay, so here we are. I'm going to show you how to pin together your two pieces to set in your curve. This is the Drunkard's Path block. It's used very commonly in quilting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay both my pieces right sides up with the solid. Again, it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong side to solids, but I'm going to line up my two center points and I'm going to just hold them together, line them up really nicely like that. And then I'm going to pin them. And I'm just going to do a little pin just like that, make a little bite of the pin itself. These are fine glass head pins so that when you hit it with an iron, it's not going to melt the glass head. So if they're plastic, sometimes you can melt them, and I really like the fine metal pins because they are so much easier to glide into fabric. So now I'm going to show you, once you get the center point pinned, you're going to line up your corner here, and so you're just going to fold your fabric kind of around this, and again I'm just going to do a little bit of a bite with the pin, and then I'm keeping the pin away from the edge of the fabric because that's where I'm going to be sewing, and hopefully I can pretty much keep these pins in the entire time I'm doing the sewing of, and I don't have to take the pins out. Okay, so again I'm going to line up my corner really nicely. Both the blue and the white are put together there, and then I'm going to pin through both layers and not put it in all the way so that I can keep my pins in while I sew. So now we have, so you can see here, this is kind of a funky little shape here. It doesn't really want to be like that, but I promise it will stretch across. So I'm going to really gently hold this, and I'm going to, you can feel the top part here. You can feel that this bulk kind of stretch out a bit when you pull it. So you can see how much the fabric is able to stretch. So I'm going to just flatten it down on the edge, starting at the edge and pulling it towards the other edge over here. And I'm going to pin that down. And I know they're on opposite sides, but I can really still easily pull them out because this is a really small block. So it's not like I'm going to have 30 pins in there. I'm only going to have like 8. So here we go. Now we have those, and you can see how that is. There are no folds in my edges here. There's no folds at all. So if you feel like that's still not laying very flat, what you can do is you can just say, oh, there's just a lot of bulk right here. You can go ahead and put one more pin in there. So you can just put another pin in there to try to help ease that bulk so that it stays nice and flat. So you want your edges to be completely free of folds so that when you open it up, when you pull this open, you're not going to see any stitches over folded fabric. So again, all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down right there so I can see that I'm lining up the edges of my fabric really nicely. Grab a pin and then pin it just like that. So again, we're going to do that to the edge. We're going to keep my corner kind of lined up here. So I'm gonna, it does definitely takes patience, but I absolutely love curved piecing. I love the way it looks, and I think it's super, super fun. So if you do it on your wool mat, it's kind of nice because you can just poke it straight down in there and then pull it out so that you only get the fabric. So I can hold it in position, and then I can pull it up and hold it down. So that looks pretty good to me. That's a lot of pins. You don't have to put that many in there. It is definitely possible to do this without pins, but generally only after you've done this, maybe a couple 100 times or so. So that is how I set in my curve. And now we're going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to show you how I stitch that down.